G'day guys, welcome to this week's weekly developer update. I'm CW and coming to you solo. Joe's just feeling a little bit under the weather this week. So once again, another jam-packed week for the developer update. Just one thing I'd like to touch on is the announcement of a crowdfunding initiative for Bitpanda. So Bitpanda is basically an infrastructure or payment rail system that runs in the EU. So if you want to get on board, by all means, check out the raffle. The link is provided on Ergo platform Twitter, or that's also available in the blog post. Okay, so kicking things off this week, we have Luivatra and the Paideia beta update. So on the front end integration is complete. We'll rebootstrap tomorrow with some updated contracts. The in-house testing will commence, and then once it's all working, they'll start distributing the test tokens for so that the beta becomes public. Okay, next on to Crux. Further planning on tasks that need to be done is underway. And the tip bot is back operational. So updated the backend to the latest AppKit version. Also found some mistakes in error handling, making error messages when the tipping is not very useful, which should be now fixed. And there's an auto consolidate feature when tipping. Also added a 0.01 fee of Erg on every tip that's to be sent to the SIG treasury. So storing it on an intermediary P2PK first. So don't think sending dust to multi-sig is a good idea. Also updated to the new Twitter API. Seems to be working, but still testing. The biggest issue is the rate limit on DM API. So maximum of 3 requests every 15 minutes on the API. And that costs $100 a month, which is just outright ridiculous in my opinion. If we go on with the Twitter bot, some sort of simple website with the Twitter login to interact with the tip backend for Twitter tip wallet management would be a good idea for a better user experience. Thanks for all you've done there. I think the tip bot's a fantastic initiative. So if you're not sure what it is, if you want to jump into Twitter, Discord, I think it's on Reddit also, and even Telegram, so you can jump on there, and one way to be able to set that up is having the same wallet address for all platforms, and it's it makes it nice and streamlined there. Okay, next we have Danza's update for SingleTxSwap. So added asset verification. Artists are welcome to request a verification. If Sky Harbor has a verification endpoint, they'd like to explore that option as well. Added transaction summary with warnings about unverified assets so that the users won't need to validate manually in the wallet. And finally, improved the front end for mobile devices, although they are not supported for swaps. Okay, scrolling down, next we have Pulsarz and the hodlcoin update. Added KYA and what is hodlcoin pop-ups. That's also really important to know what your KYA is, know your assumptions. Added SafeW compatibility, and that's in alpha mode. Added the APA statistics, so all-time annualized price appreciation. Lowered the transaction fee to 0.0015 Erg, which is cents on the pennies. Also, the auto refresh dashboard every 30 seconds. Then fixed a UI overflow when entering large numbers. Okay, next we have Kushti. And on the protocol and node development front, started a white paper draft on the P2P layer improvements, sub-blocks and sidechains. It'll be interesting, can't wait for that one to come out. Started to assemble node version 5.0.14, and the current plan is provided in the link. You can follow that on GitHub. Also reviewed PRs for Sigma 5.0.10. And then other matters for Dexy. There's a Spectrum passes done by Code for Us and Dmitry Yusov. So it's now working on the LP front end. Also working on Gort tokenomics for Oracle Pools 2.0, Dexy Gold, Gluon. So it should be ready a little bit later. By the time this video is out, it might actually be out. Also passed hodl token contracts for review and fixed a test failing in chain cache repo. And that's due to the redemption fee introduction. Also doing some refactoring there. And next we have an update from Morpic on the Sigma front. So this Sigma SDK version 5.0.10 has been released with ErgoScript compiler for JavaScript. There's also the sigmastate-js, so that's version 0.2.2 published on npm.js. Also the refactoring and code improvements PRs waiting for review by Kushti. Has implemented Fleet's transaction signing. Unsigned transactions can be created using Fleet's builder and passed to the Sigma prover to 1, get reduced transaction, and 2, sign a reduced transaction and get Fleet's signed transaction. And details provided on the Sigma State Interpreter GitHub. And then next up, export reduction transaction to JS and make it available via the sigmastate.js. So it's useful for ErgoPay implementation in JavaScript and is once again continuing on the multisig implementation. Greenhat's working on a nice little bit of utility here. So he's implemented pretty printing and captured source bands for a small subset of IR nodes to test the error messaging and overall pipeline. So he provides a little snippet there for what a division by 0 error looks like. And then the source was for pretty printed was from the Ergo tree. And next we'll implement pretty printing for the rest of the IR nodes and refine evaluation errors to capture more information. Okay, scrolling down, there's a fair bit of chatter here just between Morpic, Kushti and greenhat. Next we have LiquidPhase, the terahertz.fm update. There's not much update this week, so just ticking off each little remaining tasks on the UI front end to get the MVP launched by next month. Also decided to start exploring converting the smart contracts to Plutus as well and other EUTXO languages. Okay, we have Ilya from Spectrum back. And on Spectrum front, implemented the batch of VRF evaluation. So it allows to call VRF once to verify a proof of N lotteries. Has also incorporated logical clocks synchronization protocol based on techniques from the Ouroboros Cronus into Spectrum's consensus. So it's logical time synchronization without centralized oracles. And also specification is to be updated soon. He's working on a pilot version of the on-chain vault and implemented block header validation. Okay, we have an update from ykristian doing another Indonesian translation, and I believe this one is for Sigma USD. Once again, there's a lot of discussion this week, which is great to see. Okay, next we have PGR 456 and sigmaspace.io update. So it's still a work in progress, didn't have much time to work on it. It's had an issue with a few circular dependencies. So I don't want to block it. If someone else wants to help on that issue, by all means reach out to PGR and give them some assistance there. Okay, next we have MGpai. It's been busy as always on multiple fronts. So starting with ZenGate, he's implemented modified payment and shipping workflow into the database. Also implemented shopping cart features for orders in the DB. The app design for traceability portal is almost complete. There's IPFS integration researched and NFT viewer UI and functionality has been researched. So implementation on that will start shortly. A winter protocol designed for general industry use. So it's on its 5th revision. The Winter Protocol Ergo scripts in progress, and Winter Protocol library implementation is starting this week. Okay, next to Pheonix. Launched almost a week ago, and there's 69,000 Erg total locked. By all means, jump on there and hodl contract or Pheonix. You can visit that on phoenixfi.app. It's also been added to DeFi Llama with a link provided. Also, as far as you know, it's the first Ergo project to have multiple UIs. Just like I mentioned there, you've got phoenixfi.app and then hodlcoin.co.in. So it's basically two front ends, two UIs to actually integrate and interact with a single backend contract. It's working on ErgoPay support and working on token contracts for the token hodl. And then on to Lilium, it's working on ErgoPay support. And finally, ErgoNames. UI Figma renders complete. The UI implementation is in progress. And also a subdomain contract is in progress. So the final contract. As you can see, there's a link there for the DeFi Llama. That's a quick little update from LowKeyNerd on BlitzTCG. Just missed the update time, but he's jumped in a little bit later. He's provided an update. So a couple of unexpected things. So here's one. You can download a proper .exe version of the super early build of Blitz. It's provided a link there. You can play around with creating an account, creating decks. Also, the blockchain-based cards if you associate a wallet and get your account up and running. Which is pretty cool. Jump on there and have a play. And finally, we have the Ergasia update. So there's a few things the devs have worked on. There's a schema designed for the database using Prisma as ORM. There's a page separation and routing, authentication with Google credentials, so email and password login. Also, there's some API endpoints, so creating jobs API, delete jobs API, update jobs API, and finally find jobs API. So a get. And then next work, devs will start working on the messaging system. It's already deployed. The website's going great, and hope to have the decentralized one up with some more traction. All right, guys, that sums up this week's weekly developer update. Thanks everyone for contributing. It's always a pleasure reading through these, and thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a great one.